These are Highland cows, and this girl over here, the lighter color one, is one of ours. We bought 2 mamas and they are bred and they're about to give birth maybe in August, and we're about to bring them to our farm. So big news. Also, I'm pregnant. So that's why I haven't been making a lot of content, but I wanted to share with you the news about the cows.
Hey y'all, so these are our cows. You'll see 2, one on the right end and one on the left end. Those are the 2 that we purchased. The grayish looking one in the middle is the bull who fathered the babies that these mamas are carrying. That will be ours. So we purchased a total of 4 cows, the mamas and then the calves that they have, assuming that they each have 1 living calf. And then the other red cow you see here is another mama that's pregnant that our friend is going to be keeping. And if you recognize these cows, yes, they are the cows from the farm that we toured. Our friend is going to be downsizing his herd, and so we inquired about his cows. So we will be bringing them to the farm very shortly, and they will be kept with the Black Angus that are currently in our fields. The Black Angus are not much larger than these cows, so it's fine to keep them together. We will need to separate them when the bull comes onto the property to breed the Black Angus, because we don't want a Black Angus bull to impregnate these Scottish Highland cows. We will be breeding these cows as time goes on and trying to build up our herd. And we plan to keep Black Angus on the farm as well as our own cows. We recently forestry mulched the perimeter of the farm, and we will be putting in new exterior fencing on the farm. And when we do that, that expands the current area that the cows have access to by about 35 acres more. And it's not all pastured, but in time, most of it will become pasture. Scottish Highland cows are not native to Virginia. They are from Scotland. We have clay soil here, and that's one issue that comes up as problematic for keeping these cows, as they in Scotland have more rocky terrain, and that keeps their hooves in better shape. Our friend who's kept these cows, he hasn't had any issues with their feet. He hasn't had a farrier work on their feet. So that's something that we'll just keep an eye on, and as needed, have someone come out and treat their feet. The other thing is, it gets very hot here in Virginia. This week alone, we're getting up to about 96 degrees and high humidity, making it feel much hotter than 96 degrees. So they have a shaggy coat, and that's not really ideal for this weather. They do all right as long as they have some shade, and definitely in the wintertime they do just fine. Normally you do not need to interfere at all while a Scottish Highland cow is birthing. They're very good at mothering all on their own. They have really wide hips, and they're one of the oldest breeds of cow out there. They haven't been genetically bred for all these different traits, so they're pretty hardy and strong as is. They will seclude themselves, go away from you, and probably under some trees give birth, and then they'll show back up later on with a calf. Scottish Highlands are good for both a meat cow as well as a milk cow. They're dual purpose. We do not plan on milking them. They can be highly protective of their calves, but generally speaking, they have a gentle disposition. as you see, I am hand feeding them, and they are just sweet as can be. They let me go into the pasture with them, and if they don't want me near them, they just walk away. So they're very gentle cows. As our first cow that we have purchased, this gives me a lot of confidence to work around them. They will charge you while they have a baby if they feel that their baby is under any kind of threat. So while they have their calves, you need to respect them and give them space. So Daniel and I have been talking about what exactly are we doing with this herd of cows. We're probably going to be breeding the cows and selling their offspring and holding on to cows to build our herd, rather than using them for meat cows. However, down the road, we probably will process some of these cows and fill our freezers with meat, especially as they age out. These mothers are very old. I think they're about 12, so they're nearing the end of their ability to birth. So depending on how they do in the next couple years, they may not be in our field, but there are starter cows, and hopefully we get some good ladies from them. Since these cows do not do well in the heat and they need shade, we plan to put more trees into our pastures, as well as potentially having a shade or a tent that's mobile that we move, that the cows can get rest and shade underneath, and as we move the cows from field to field, we can move this contraption around. The Black Angus also get hot, but like I said, these Scottish Highland cows have a thick coat, so they get warmer. Interestingly, having the horns, they release heat. So they're like radiators. The heat comes out of the horns. They are not very aggressive with the horns. A longhorn cow, those are known to be pretty aggressive, and then they have the horns, and that's dangerous. These cows don't really use their horns. They just kind of push each other around gently with their horns if a cow's, getting food that they want. So I'm not really concerned about them having horns versus having a breed of cow that doesn't have horns. It's just kind of like you should be looking out for the cow in general, making sure you don't get kicked or, charged or what have you. And I personally don't really think the horns make much of a difference on this breed of a cow. So yeah. As I was actually feeding these cows, our friend told me that the cows don't have teeth on the top of their mouth. I was feeding them like you would a horse, where you keep your hand flat, but you can keep your fingers all together and just hand them a treat, and your hand can go in their mouth and they're not going to be able to bite you. They just have teeth on the bottom. Their tongue is like sandpaper, and they're extremely slobbery and slimy. So that's all you got to worry about with your hand by their mouth is their slime. So as we have little ones coming to the farm, I'm not worried about them getting bit by these cows. So I look forward to capturing our baby calves and showing you what they look like and sharing the dispositions of the cows. Thankfully, these two mamas that we got, they're very gentle, docile cows, and they will come running if you have treats. So you just put them in a bucket and shake it, and they'll come right on over and let you hand feed them. So I am very much a fan of that. As you know, I enjoy feeding 89 and 007 currently on our farm, some of our Black Angus mamas that are gentle and sweet to us. So happy to have these ones join the herd. So not only are our cows pregnant, but as I've mentioned, I am pregnant too. I'm just over halfway through the pregnancy, and we are expecting a very healthy and strong baby boy. So we would appreciate prayers over him as he is developing, and that we have a smooth, safe delivery. And he's due at the beginning of December. And yeah, so we're really excited to have him join us on the farm, and we welcome him with our baby cows and our not so baby goats and our plethora of chickens and handful of cats. If she had been left with the rest of the birds much longer, they would have killed her. We're not sure exactly how long she had been out there, tangled in the net,